Hi guys, my name is Crystal and welcome to my YouTube channel. Welcome new subscribers, welcome old, and today I am going to be positive and try and not talk about things that upset myself. Right, Alexa, what's the time please?
The time is 8:13 a.m.
Alexa, what's the date today?
Today is Friday the 24th of June.
Alexa, the weather?
Currently, in Rochester it's 17 degrees Celsius with partly sunny skies. You can expect more of the same today, with a high of 23 degrees and a low of 13 degrees.
And Alexa, can you tell me a joke?
Did you hear about the baker who got rich? She used her loaf and made a lot of dough.
I like that one. I do like that one. That's original. And Alexa, the thought of today. Alexa, the thought of today.
Here is your thought for June 24th. From Dwight D. Eisenhower. What is important is seldom urgent and what is urgent is seldom important.
You know what? When I didn't have Alexa, life was a bit more monotonous than it is now, put it that way, because I can listen to music, and my mum is quite right. If you're lonely on your own, she will speak to you, and I can listen to music, and I've got Audible on it, so all yesterday I was listening to an Audible book. My dad used to do it when he was very ill with bed. He used to lie down and have Alexa there, or his DAB radio, digital radio, and he would listen to stories and Audible books. So Audible sent me a message yesterday saying I had a credit, so I had 2 credits, and you can get a book absolutely free. So if you join for $7.99 a month, you get 3 books. But it means that in the meantime you can listen to Audible podcasts and things like that. And so it is worth it, because books, hardback books, can cost £20 plus. And I don't even have to go out, go and buy books, whether it be from charity shops, because they have got some nice books. And if you don't want to strain your eyes reading, alright, you can just sit there and listen to a whole book for absolutely free. And so I chose this book about a sociopath, and I've been listening to that, about how this poor woman, what she went through, true story, about several men and one using her for money, buying himself a BMW on her money, when you love somebody, you actually give them everything you've got, and this is how you can get conned online, you see, especially older women. When you get older, you've had kids, and you've put on a bit of weight, your looks are fading, you're going a bit grey. Some men think that that's an opportunity to take advantage of you, you see. They think, oh well, she's not going to get anything else, so I'll try this. And then this guy bled this woman dry of money, of all her savings. Because he kept giving her lines, oh you're beautiful, I love you, and all this. And he didn't really mean it. He had another woman. In fact, he had more than one other woman. He had 4 or 5, I think. He had 4 or 5 different women. 4 or 5 different women. And he'd had a baby with her, and called Marcus. She'd had a baby called Marcus with him. And basically, he was a con artist, a trickster, and she had to like investigate what he was doing. But when somebody constantly says, I love you, you're beautiful, you're gorgeous, they're usually after money. Sorry, but they are. Not in every case, but mostly they are after your money or what you've got. Right, so while I'm doing this video, I'm going to put some nail varnish on, the nail varnish I got yesterday. I asked for a nail varnish by Rita Ora, but I think they've substituted it with something else, I'm not sure. But it doesn't say Rita Ora on this bottle, Rita Ora, it says Rimmel. It's supposed to say quick dry in 60 seconds. So we're going to put it on and see whether it dries in 60 seconds. I doubt it. Of course, nail varnish stinks, doesn't it? Absolutely stinks like paint. Smells, but not as bad. So I'm just going to put my nail varnish on. My mother will specifically say she doesn't wear nail varnish or red lipstick, but I do. I think that, you've got to be yourself, not what other people want you to be. I don't want to be turned into a clone of somebody else. I am myself, and myself used to wear nail varnish. And I stopped wearing it. It actually protects the nails as well. It makes them harder and stronger. Right, so that's the one hand. We do the one hand first, and then we let it dry for a bit, and then I put another coat on because just one coat doesn't seem to show up the colour, and it doesn't show up the colour, does it? So I usually put 2 coats nail varnish on. So while we're sat down, Alexa, can you put LBC radio on?
LBC London from Global Player.
Is applied to PayPal is charged. We are a reclaim your power and get money in your pocket. Download the app today.
Nick Ferrari at breakfast on LBC. Call 0345 6060973.
20 minutes after 8 is the time. Back to our conversation in a moment about those by-elections. Now, in my conversation with the Home Secretary, about half an hour ago, she was quick to reference the work that's being done in Ukraine, and of course that's the brave military personnel who are standing by deployed in that area, as they are often deployed, of course, around the world. So surely it brings extra significance to Armed Forces Day, which takes place tomorrow. And to give background to that, and indeed to mark how you can honour it yourselves, let's be joined now by Admiral Sir Tony Radakin, who's Chief of the Defence Staff, joining me. Good to have you on, Sir Tony. Explain, if you would, the importance of Armed Forces Day. Good morning.
Good morning, Nick. Well, it's a very important day. It's a day that allows the nation to reflect on what our armed forces provide in our service to the nation. And that's about a demonstration of appreciation for some of the things that we do, and that's very generous of the nation. It's also important to just try and better understand what we do on behalf of the nation. And it's, as you mentioned, it's that security and keeping our nation safe and doing the same for our allies and partners, and that's what we're doing in Ukraine, and that's what we're doing with our NATO allies. So over 8,000 of the British Army deployed on that eastern flank to protect NATO. We've got fast jets in the sky over Europe, and day in, day out, we have our nuclear submarine somewhere in the North Atlantic ready for the worst eventuality. But it's also everything else that we contribute. Respecting the veterans that have served their country, reflecting on those reservists that mix their civilian careers with also a uniform career, and thanking the employers that allow that to happen. And then also we're the largest provider of youth organisations in the country, and giving young boys and girls the opportunity to know what we might offer, or some additional experiences, or what it's like to be in uniform and what it means to serve. And that's what this is all about, and also supporting our armed forces and seeing it as a two-way street. We serve the nation, but those that are in the armed forces, they've got a special obligation, but they also have the incredible careers which are rich and fulfilling, and you learn new skills. And this is an opportunity for the nation to generously say they back us, which I'm really pleased to say is the case that all of us experience, and that's what it's all about.
Admiral, you're speaking as a former First Sea Lord. I note the Royal Navy leads the event this year. What does that mean for the Navy?
Well, it means it's a special privilege. Each of the armed forces takes it in turn, and it means it's got special emphasis. And this is the actual formal event is taking place in Scarborough tomorrow. And that will have the Fleet Commander from the Royal Navy there as the lead on behalf of the Royal Navy. But it's also this big national event. So there are events happening all around the country. So some of those are community events, some of them are employer events. Some of them are the local armed forces in an area opening their doors and allowing people to better understand what they might do. And it's an emphasis tomorrow and all over this week, but it's also a reflection of what goes on the whole time. And that's the bit that I think is really significant, that we're part of the community, we serve our nation, we only do it on the nation's behalf, and we do it by this incredible relationship that we have with the British people.
You can go to the Armed Forces Day website for details where events are taking place in your own particular area, and it's worth noting this is the first one after COVID that held it back for a couple of years, so good luck with that. So Tony, before I let you go, just one final question on defence matters. You may have seen yesterday, Defence Secretary Ben Wallace says the West could struggle to mount a long-term offensive war. It's failed to stockpile enough ammunition. He was speaking at a military base in London. He said Europe and the US have hollowed out their forces. They look good at the front, but they don't have sufficient supply lines. Given the Ukraine that both you and I have referenced, how much of a concern is that, Sir Tony?
So I think the big point to reflect here is that we're in the world's largest and most effective military alliance called NATO. That's over 3 million people, 3.5 million people in uniform, and that collective defence of ourselves with the US, but with all of the European nations in NATO, with Canada, collectively that gives us extraordinary power. But I think what the Defence Secretary is reflecting is this aggression from Russia and the violence that Russia is meeting out is understandably causing all of us to look again at the speed at which we can respond, the depth at which we can respond, what are the rates of expenditure.
Stop. Right guys, so I'm going to do the other hand, because I'm going to switch the video off in a minute, so I'm going to do the other hand. Today I want to be more positive, I want to be happy, do what I want to do, so I'm going to do what I was told, and that is ignore other people, ignore what's going on outside, concentrate on what I'm doing, and hopefully these demons inside me and outside will go away and leave me alone. Okay guys, see you later.